Probably the most common question I get asked on YouTube on multiple YouTube channels is how much does YouTube pay you per video? And people always think it's based on either the number of subscribers you have on that channel or the number of views that you have on that video. And that's actually not the case. The way YouTube pays you, and the only number that actually tells you how much you get paid per video, is called RPM, and another number is called CPM. So I wanted to talk about those in this video and show you very clear examples across a couple of different channels to show you how much YouTube pays me per video. And I'll show you an example at the end of the video that really blew my mind. Basically, with 9,000 views, I was able to make almost the same amount of money as videos that have 200,000 or 300,000 views. So I'll compare those two at the end too. Let's jump in. In this video, I want to talk about CPM and RPM. These are basically the numbers that you need to know about when it comes to monetizing YouTube videos. Now, this is exactly related to how much YouTube pays you per video. So I'll show you a couple of different examples across a couple of different channels because the CPM and the RPM are going to be different on different content and different channels. I'll explain that as we go. Let's get started with CPM. And basically, anytime you click on one of your videos, you could go to this page under Analytics. And then from Overview, you could come over to this Revenue tab to see these numbers. So this is going to tell you how much you made on this specific video. Then it's going to tell you your RPM and your CPM. So CPM used to be the only number that we had. RPM is something they released back in 2020 that makes things a lot easier. But I'll start with what CPM is. CPM stands for cost per mil, or basically, to simplify, this is how much YouTube is charging advertisers for 1,000 views. So $5 in this case. Now, this is not how much you get paid. RPM is the new metric, again, stands for revenue per mil, and this is how much YouTube pays you for 1,000 views. So this is really the number I look at now. CPM is kind of outdated because I don't really care how much they charge the advertisers because they really only pay you this much, and this number is not relevant to us anymore. So in the case of this video, I'm getting $1.42 per 1,000 views. So to get to $258, let's take a look under Overview. That took 181,000 views to get that much money. And that's why throughout this course, I've mentioned lots of other ways to make money with YouTube because this is just not very much money for that many views. If you get this many views on a sponsored video or a very specific video with a good affiliate link and all the other things we're going to talk about, this is going to be much more profitable than estimated revenue here. Now, I did mention that RPMs and CPMs are different on different channels and different type of content. So let me show you another example on my filmmaking channel, and then you'll get a better idea on the range. So here's a video related to filmmaking. So again, I made almost the same amount of money as the video I just showed you, but if I go to Overview, this video only has 56,000 views, right? Much less views, but if I go to the Revenue tab, you could see the RPM is much, much higher, $4.60, and the CPM again is much higher, $12.76. So this is almost triple what the other video was as far as how much YouTube is going to pay me per view. So 1,000 views is much more profitable here for me because of the type of content. Now, the reason for this is because advertisers that are running ads on this video are choosing to pay more for that ad to get shown to people. Most of the times that's related to the age of your audience, which you could also see over here if you go to the Audience tab. If I scroll down, a lot of times I could see the age of the audience here. This one doesn't have enough information, but usually shows up under age and gender. The older an audience, typically YouTube pays you more. That's not always true, but in most cases it's true. And then right here, geography is important. If the audience comes from US or UK or Canada, typically the CPM and the RPM are higher than if the audience comes from India or the Philippines. Now that's based on my experience and what I've seen, and that's because US and UK advertisers in those countries tend to pay more than advertisers that are advertising to an Indian audience. This is usually related to the income level of the population of those countries. So how do you increase your RPM and CPM? Well, there's a few things you could do. You could make different types of content that demand a higher CPM and RPM rate. For example, just to give you an example, if you make digital marketing videos, they are much, much higher than what you see. I have a digital marketing video where the RPM is closer to $20. If you make entertainment-based content though, or just viral content that could be shown to maybe 100 million people, your RPM is going to be much, much less. Sometimes less than $1 or even less than that. Just to give an average, a typical RPM is around $1 and a typical CPM is around $2 on YouTube. So I'm doing much better with this type of content. Here's a very high paying revenue video. Look at the RPM here, $22 and the CPM of almost $50. Now, again, this is related to the type of content. I'm talking about starting a video production company. So the advertisers on that may have a lot more money to run ads, and the audience too. If I go to the audience tab, I could see the majority of my audience is coming from the US. So this one, for only 9,000 views on this video, almost is making the same as the other ones I showed you with many more views. So the type of content you make, the geography where that content is relevant, and the age range of your audience is usually where your RPM and CPM numbers come from. And RPM is typically 55% of what YouTube is getting paid. The split between you as a creator and YouTube is YouTube takes 45% of the money they make on advertising, and they give you 55%, which is pretty fair compared to other platforms that are out there because they take care of all the advertising for you. In this case, you're not actually finding advertisers yourself. So you make content and they give you 55% of the revenue. And just to mention, sometimes people use this thing called YouTube Premium. I actually have it, so it doesn't show you ads at all on YouTube. And in that case, you still get paid, but it's a different revenue model. You actually get paid from a pool of money that they get from YouTube Premium memberships. I think this is about $12.99 per month is what I'm paying for YouTube Premium, but I don't see ads. But you do still make some money when people with YouTube Premium memberships watch your videos. But again, the majority of it is going to come from people without that get served the ads, and that's going to be over here. And it's going to show you the ad types. Typically, I turn on every type of ad available to me on a video, but the bulk of your money comes from the skippable ad that play in the beginning, middle, or end of the video. Those are the skippable, where you get a 5-second countdown before you could press skip. But there are display ads, bumper ads, and those also make up a little bit of typical revenues here. If you go to the monetization tab here, as long as monetization is turned on, you could see that. So I have overlay. I have basically every ad here, and you also have before the video, pre-roll ad, middle of the video. This is for videos over 8 minutes, and after the video. I have everything checked on to maximize the potential for revenue here. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's totally up to you. You could turn some of these off, and I do test this all the time. And there's mid-roll ads too. So in the middle of your video, you see I have 2 of them here and here. So in the middle of the video, you're going to get a couple more ads. Again, this basically gives you more opportunities to make money from the YouTube ad program using these methods of having multiple ads on a video, but sometimes it may take away from audience engagement. So be careful how many ads you place in a video. And that's your brief overview on RPM, basically the number you should really pay attention to, how much YouTube pays you for 1,000 views, and CPM, how much YouTube charges advertisers for 1,000 views. And you'll see this number for your entire channel as well on the main page of your YouTube studio. And if you're trying to grow and monetize your own YouTube channel or use YouTube to generate revenue and leads for your business, I do have a complete course coming out very, very shortly, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to learn more about that. Thanks so much for all your time with this video, and I will see you next time.